If the outcome changes, does it change you? Meaning, can you stay committed to the outcome without the promise of the outcome? Most people know. Most people know. Most people, they set an outcome, and if they don't get to that outcome, well, now they're pissed. They're angry. Have you seen that in your life? Yes or no? Yes. Have you been that in your life? Yes or no? Yes. Let me give you an example of this, man. I've been growing my beard out pretty much since last peak partnership. But I'd not shaved it for a month and a half, so it was gonna be big and bushy and nice. And yesterday I go to my favorite barber to get it trimmed. And he opted off, and he skinned me right here. It looks like I got a bald patch on my chin. Maybe you can't see it right now, but when I see you, and I'm talking to you, you're gonna be like, what the hell is wrong with his beard? Now I'm gonna be honest with you. When I saw that in the mirror, the outcome had changed. I don't have hair. This is all I got. I already got bald patch up here. You get it. You get it. Look how nice your beard looks, bro. God damn. Whew. I was so sad. But let me tell you what I did. I felt it. I was literally angry. Like, what, bro? Bro, because this is my dude. I don't know what happened. I tipped him $100 because I didn't want it to change, because I was planning on tipping him $100 anyway, because I love the dude. He's a great dude. He works hard. Something happened. I don't know what happened. Something happened. And I said, hey, you just make sure this shit don't happen again next time. I'm going to pay you extra to make sure. Because you think what tip means. Tip means to improve performance. Right? Let me give you a tip. Don't go to him next time. Okay? I'm kidding. I'm going to go. Okay? I'm going to go. Okay. Let's move forward practice, because it brings me to my first principle, which is perspective. Perspective. Perspective is the first principle. Say perspective. Perspective is critical, man. How we view what we do will impact how we do what we do. It's an Inky Johnson quote, right? Perspective. Perspective is critical. I want you to think about this. Progress, like we talked about, doesn't just happen in one direction. It can happen in multiple directions, as long as our perspective is in the right area. See, sometimes, imagine going up to Camp 3, coming all the way back down, you're feeling like you're not making progress, but in reality, if you have the right perspective, you realize that you're actually very much making progress, because that is part of the process. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Or don't hate the game, just have a different perspective of how the game is played. See, progress and happiness are directly correlated with our perspective. Progress and happiness are directly correlated with our perspective. See, we don't experience life as it is. We experience life as we perceive it to be. We don't experience life as it is. We experience life as we perceive it to be. In other words, okay, the peak of your progress will be determined by the depth of your perspective. The peak of your progress will be determined by the depth of your perspective. So if you feel like you're already at the peak, you feel like you're not making any progress, it's probably because it's a perspective issue. Maybe you're focusing on the wrong things. Maybe you're not viewing it in the right light. See, I believe there's a framework. I call it the Think Bigger framework. Okay, you can write this down. It's a very simple framework. You have an event, a situation, a circumstance. Okay, we can't control those. They happen. Like this. Happens. Now you have really, the most basic level, two ways to perceive it. It can be perceived as something in light that is not serving to the direction you're looking to go, or you can look to perceive it in a way that is serving to the direction you're looking to go. But I'm going to tell you that outcome will own you until you change your perspective of it. Sometimes an outcome is just an outcome. It doesn't have to be positive or negative. It can just be it is the outcome. We cannot get hung up on that. We need to focus on the process so that we can continue to progress. Because the peak, once again, of our progress will be determined by the depth of our perspective. Y'all with me, yes or no? Yes. That's challenging to do, especially when you're in a challenge. It's challenging to do, especially when you're in a challenge. This brings me to principle number 2, which is energy. Okay, energy is a currency, man. Energy is a foundational principle of success. Growth doesn't happen without energy. Think of anything that is alive. Growth does not happen without energy. Did y'all bring some energy with you this weekend? Yes or no? All right, okay. Let me give you an example. I learned this from my little boy Pax. Pax, I had been short with him. Yelled at him, not yelled, but just talked in a tone that was direct. But not yell, I don't yell. I yelled. I'm not gonna lie. And then I go in, I'm like, hey, what's going on? Because I realized something was going on. And he tells me three things. 1, I miss Maui. 2, I miss my buddies in Maui. And 3, Marley keeps making messes in my room. But can I just backtrack for a second? You know how powerful that is? The fact that he can even recognize the things that are in his way. He had actually taken I was blown away by that. He had actually taken the time to define these 3 things are my holdups. Whew. Do you guys remember last year talking about be the buffalo, yes or no? Be the buffalo means go right into the storm. Okay, if you don't know what this is, you go right into the storm. A cow lays down or runs from the storm. A buffalo charges through the storm, which means they are in there shorter, their exposure is shorter, and they reap the benefits on the other side. Part of doing that is identifying what's holding you back, identifying what the challenge is, not running from it, not pretending like it's not there, but just writing that bitch down and being like, let's go. Yes or no? Yes. That's what he did. He told me what it is, and I said, okay, well, first off, the Marley in your room thing, because he was pissed because he couldn't do something because there was messes he needed to clean up. And he very quickly was like, well, I mean, I was playing with him too, and I could have done it before. He changes his perspective. But then I tell him, we talk about his other 2. Because those are real things, man. And as a dad, I mean, I want my kids and my family to have the most amazing life, man. And if there's something, and they didn't ask to move. If you don't know, I moved to Orlando from Maui. We're here temporarily, but we're here for a while. And some of you are like, well, who cares? It's Orlando, it's warm, it's not. It's maybe your perspective. I also love to be here. And I will tell you, for me being here, it's so purposeful. There is purpose with being here. I'm energized to be here. I'm like for real. But on the other side, my little dude, Pax, is like, well, I just miss Maui and my friends. And that breaks my freaking heart because he didn't ask for that. He couldn't control that outcome. But what can he control? His perspective. Say perspective. Perspective. And that will bring in more energy. Say energy. Energy. That's what it is. So this is what he tells me. I said, so what can you do? Literally all I asked was this. What can you do there? And he says, well, it's kind of like my video games. Like, I guess if I take the batteries out, nothing's going to change. So if he's talking about his thought, I'm like, it's okay to feel it. It's okay to feel it. But you can't let that dictate your direction forward, dictate your attitude. You can't allow it. It's not serving. He says, well, I can remove it, but in my video games, if I just remove the batteries, this is what he tells me. If I remove the batteries, nothing else happens. I have to replace the batteries. That was an evil laugh. I liked that, though. I liked that. Evil in the nicest way. I see you. It was a great laugh. I actually really loved it. But isn't that powerful? Replace the batteries. Listen, your perspective is in direct correlation with our happiness and our progress. So if we have a perspective that isn't serving, where can we revert back to and replace it? Gratitude. So what does this little dude start to do? He starts to tell me things that he's grateful for being here. Things he's experienced from being here. The growth he's experienced from being here. And all of a sudden the energy changes because his perspective changed, which was in his control. I immediately wrote it down. Change the batteries, replace the batteries. It's a powerful perspective to have, especially when our perspective is not serving. Y'all agree? Can we give Pax a round of applause? He's in here somewhere. My man, that handsome little dude over there, my man. I love you, buddy. Hey, I have my family here for the first time. They've never been to Peak before. Yeah. I want to explain this. There's lots of sacrifice that goes on. Traveling and just lots of moving, lots of sacrifice. And it's way easier for me because I see the impact. I have the conversations, I'm in it. Well, they're not. They're not in it. We talk about it. But Brittany, we've been doing this for 4 years, multifamily mindset for 4 years. And very rarely does she see the impact. Now, some of you have sent cards and the nicest freaking things, and I love you for that. Not to me, to her. I love you for that. And for me to have them here means everything to me. Means everything to me. So show them some love this weekend for sure. Yeah.